right, because he plays an ovation actually.
Yeah.
With the fall away back. I can't handle them because they keep slipping off my lap.
Oh, I hate them. I bloody hate them, I do.
Yeah. But the funny thing, I was rattling on then, and I didn't realise we just run out of. But the thing I said about I can't get my hang about. I gotta click my video over there. Is about Paul Henry. I haven't got a contact. He's on Facebook, I think. But
Yeah.
I saw a post somewhere that he and Roger were playing in the rugby club and something to do a Paul Carr thing, raising money for a lifeboat.
That's right, yeah.
So now I drove past the rugby club on, was it Saturday night, coming through the skylight in the roof with a load of lights. And I'm not sure if they were Paul's lights because, you know, when he plays, he has lotus everywhere. You can hardly see Paul. So I thought, oh, surely it wasn't last Saturday. But I had a little heads up that Paul got married one day last week.
Paul Carr?
Paul Carr?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I sent him a message today, actually. I don't know where it was.
Yeah.
Whoever
I spoke to.
I said congratulations from all of us, okay? So there we are.
Yeah. Oh, whoever gave me the heads up.
I sent him a service and said congratulations to you both from all of us. Yeah. Something like that.
So I think it was Christos giving me a heads up. He was it was the following day, and I think Brian Evans had tried to get in touch with me, blah blah blah, and they tacked on that he hasn't been well. Well, I know Paul's up and down with his health a bit, but I thought it was more just getting out of the habit of coming on. But anybody know, is he okay?
No.
Nobody knows.
I spoke to him 2 months ago, I think it was, and he said he was all right, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
He looked all right.
Yeah. I spoke to him down Blackpool in the summer. He was still working in the summer, so. But I thought that post with that thing that they were doing that Paul had put on Facebook was proceeds to cancer research. The way I read it.
Yeah, I think it was. It was one of the. It was a charity.
It was a charity thing, but I thought it was sanctioned by Paul, one of his charities, and I thought it was the lifeboat. Unless I got it mixed up, perhaps it was a cancer thing. I don't know.
No, I think it's something to do with the lifeboat, but I think they can put the money to whichever charity they want to.
Right.
All right.
I remember.
What was it? Was it the one that did sort of because only now and then the one that says Paul Pablo Henry and Roger Sunset Bateman, was that the post?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's this week. I got a feeling it's something like the 14th or something.
I thought it was next weekend sometime.
Yeah, most likely it was. Yeah.
But I did think of popping down there. Then I saw so it's ticket only. So I thought.
I had a bit of to and fro, nothing in particular. Ticket only regards the laser show, you know. Because I was in one ear, just going, oh well, what's it? And I happened to be down at Birdie's, and it was about 6 o'clock, just about to leave, and I thought, oh, I'll hang about a bit. I could see some prep was going on, and then I noticed some people sitting in the window, obviously looking across to see. And they obviously had put a couple of tester beams up, but then when I was waiting for it to actually kick off at 6:30, well, by 20 to 7, it seemed to be all over. So
well, I couldn't. I could see the pier clearly. I couldn't see anything apart from a few spotlights.
And the follow-on posts then were saying that it was directed at the pier car park. That's why the videos that people had put up. It looked really good. If you were in the car park, that bit where people park, and then you look diagonally across.
I've got my suspicions about some of those pictures. I'll be honest with you, because but we were looking at it all the time, and I had a zoom lens on my camera, and I only couldn't see anything at all.
It's a conspiracy, Mike. It's a conspiracy.
Well, I mean, unless it was very low, Con, and below the buildings, you couldn't see. Perhaps it was where the old where it burnt down was. Perhaps they put it over there or something. I don't know.
I saw a couple of clips of it where it's coming out like towards Verdi's. You're looking from Verdi's and it's coming out across the sky there.
But from Verdi's itself, every now and then you could see some bits, because what they had by the look of it was about 6 or 7 points along the pier that things were doing in simultaneously, like all doing the same kind of, and then crossing each other. So I think now and then when I saw it in the flesh and I walked down the car park a bit, but I mean, when I walked down, it seemed to be all over by 11, by about 20 to 7. So whether they couldn't wait and they started earlier, because the brief was it starts at 6:30. You know, they had other stuff on there, but it seems they've, on social media, they had kind of reasonable pats on the back, and people didn't want to shoot them down a bit too much. But I thought all the way down by Verdi's, they were, you know, when you get something on, you get all the street traders with their little shaky lights on their little trolleys, you know, the fairground kind of guys, and they were all the way down to opposite the Pilot, just, you know, hoping that people that were walking down there, that they could sell them a couple of things. But that must have been part of the package, because that was the package, I suppose, that the event was free. Obviously it was paid for by somebody, and that's why I put a question up. Apparently it was paid for by the Mumbles Community Council and the pier, and some councillor bunged in 1,000. So the woman, that Claire Anna Mitchell, she sort of said she wasn't sure whether it had broken even. She hoped so. So I suppose the idea was they were pitching, get a fair few thousand people down there, and the way to get them there is say it's free. And when the 2,000 or 3,000 people are there, they spend a £5 or a £10 a head on the rides, the lollipops, the drinks, the food, which in turn then pays for the event.
A couple of grand, Sam. I tell you what, you know, get your band and my band together, grand each, and we'll do a show there. I'll get, you know, I'll do it for a grand. Plus the transport and hotels.
There's that post for Paul Carr. It's Friday the 25th of November.
Right.
At Mumbles Rugby Club, 7:30. Tickets £5. All proceeds being raised for Cancer Research Wales, as nominated by Paul Carr.
Oh, that's it. Then, yeah, I got the right stuff. Yeah. Oh, that's a good.
Thank you for the clarification, Biscuit.
Well done.
There's music supplied by Paul Pablo Henry and Roger Sunset Bateman, plus guest will be entertaining us for the evening.
Yeah.
So the guest is a surprise.
Well, no, the guest, whoever Paul manages to rope up and do a couple of numbers with him.
Yeah.
Right.
I did a couple up in the Beaufort. In fact, I think next Saturday he's in the Beaufort again, in Kittle. Oh, Dave, I was down your way on Tuesday in the chemist having a jab.
Oh, right, yeah.
When I had the notification, I thought, Pencloud? Why am I going to Pencloud? You know,
I had
over in the bay or whatever, but maybe they've fed it out now to local sort of chemists. And
yeah, they got it out weird, and I had mine. You were for there. My appointment was for Aberhaven Shopping Centre.
No. And I went. My appointment was something like 10:44, so it wasn't like me, but I turned up right on time. More by accident than, you know, effort.
Yeah,
I was there at 10:44. Walking into the chemist's door, I thought it's got to be the place, you know. And the chemist was quite full. There must have been about 15, 20 people in there. And I thought, are they all buying things from the chemist? And they were all standing around in a bit of a and there were a couple of people sitting on seats, but there was no reception. Or, are you here for the thing? Or take a seat. What number are you? Or what time's your appointment? So everybody was just standing and sitting, and they ended up sorting out the old, oh, were you before me? Yeah, you were. And it sorted itself out. So I finally got seen to at 11:30.
Oh,
So when I went in to the nurse, I said, "So what happened to the system today?" Then they said, "It looks a bit kind of tuppenny-halfpenny, doesn't it?" So of course her hackles were up,
yeah.
and she straight away said, "If you have any complaints, will you please make them to the health board?" I thought, I'm not actually getting at you. I'm just this system seems to be a bit,
Yeah.
when you went into the room, the door was wide open, so the person who was in front of you, you could see them half derobing, and I thought, but anyway, I had it. So that was my fifth one. So,
Yeah.
And I walked across the road to Newbury's and said, "Can you do an injection?" They said yes, and I was in there 2 hours later.
uh,
Yeah,
I
it's
just
ridiculous.
I did the same with the chemist across the road from me. Just walked in and said, "Okay, when can I have a jab?" He said, "Well, come back in an hour and you'll be all right."
yeah,
So they ordered it up and did it straight away.
yeah.
How many have you had, Con?
3.
How many have you had, Dave?
Bianca, I've had 6.
6.
Yeah, he's one ahead of me.
Okay, no. Well, I'm gonna go and ask. I gotta go to the
I was,
doctor, so I'm gonna ask her if I need another booster. But they told me no, I'm good for about 6 months now.
because my last one was in May, and that's why I thought, oh, this is a bit of a. And then I asked, he said, "Oh, yeah," I rang up the people, and they said, "Oh, yeah, that was the spring one. So now this is the of the next whatever, and you fall in the category of age."
I'm gonna get it done with I'll get the flu one done as well at the same time.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, that's what they're doing over here,
yeah, double top.
Yeah.
Well,
One in
then
each arm.
maybe.
Yeah. So you get 2 sore arms instead of 1.
Yeah.
The other one we work on is the shingles one. I think
She
What?
asked me if I had shingles before she gave it to me. Have you had shingles? So I said no.
What's that?
Shingles, Jan.
Shingles? What are shingles? These
thing-
shaker things or what?
No, it's a horrible thing. I had shingles,
Oh fuck!
and it's
It's
awful.
It's the herpes virus.
It's when you go down on the beach on the East Coast.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one. But,
Hey, Con, how was the gig then last weekend? You said you finished early or something, was it?
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, it was great. It was great fun.
Yeah.
And I knew what it was going to be like. It was when we got there. There's a guy on the drums and a guy on the guitar, bashing away and just doing heavy metal, Scorpion type shit, and just doing the same thing all the time. For about 10 minutes, it was the same thing. I thought, oh, this is going to be a great night. So I said to the boys, this is my group over there, I said, right, well, look, I'm going to shoot off early, so can we play early?
Yeah.
So he said, so when is that? I said, well, now, basically. So we chucked these guys off the stage, and then did a small sound check, got a guitarist in from another group, because my guitarist wasn't there, and he's a great guy, Dom. And we just jammed along. We did about 5-6 numbers. Did Proud Mary, Honky Tonk Woman, Steve Miller, the Space Cowboy,
Oh yeah.
All Along the Watchtower, and a couple of
What was that thing you said?
What was the thing
Somebody
you
was
posted? Yeah.
Was it your bad spelling or somebody else's when you were about Creedence?
Huh? What was that?
Was it a duo that was doing Proud Mary or
Oh,
something?
that? Yeah, this is
Or
the
Creedence?
no, that wasn't with us. But I just came across that, and it was woeful, It was really, I don't know.
As he said to me, Sam, Con said, he said, "That's why I don't sing in French."
Yeah.
Yes, you party.
Putain, tu parles.
What you mean of it?
But
I went to
it's
see
some classic ones over here.
last Wednesday.
What did you say, Sam? Sorry.
I said talking about woeful. I went to see Bob Dylan a week last Wednesday in Cardiff. And I've been a diehard Dylan fan. I think the first time I saw him live was 1965. So for 57 years, I've been dutifully going along, accepting, what he does and the whole thing. But this time, it was, all right. I was clapping out of politeness. He just didn't do it for me. I mean, maybe I took my eye off the ball. And then one of the guys I went with said, "Oh yeah, he said it was going to be mostly his most recent album, Rough and Rowdy Ways." And he always has got a great band with him, and they were really sharp. Presentation was very low key with lighting and stage set, but he did about 17 songs, 10 of which were all off the new album. And when he did ones that you might have known, as is the norm, they're changed so much you hardly recognize what it is he's playing,
Yeah.
But Joe, my friend, sort of said, "Oh yeah, let it wash over me." I don't think it helped that much that my hearing is losing a bit of the top frequencies, because when I cupped my ears a bit, the sound was a lot better because I couldn't really hear his lyrics that well.
You couldn't hear him say, "Hey, my name's Bob Dylan."
Yeah, but his voice is a lot better than you'd expect. But because he's 81 and he has quite serious arthritis, the whole night the band's either side of him and he's centre stage and he plays an upright piano. So he's sitting behind it. So all you see is a head walking above it now and then. It's like a bit of a puppet show. And then twice he stepped out from the side just to sort of acknowledge people. But the people who were there seemed to be really enjoying it, either out of respect or, longevity. And I thought, well, am I missing something here? But it had mixed reviews. But and there was no encore, and no real interaction with the crowd. But the band were really good. Yeah. You didn't expect him to do greatest hits, because as I've seen him over the years, you accept what he's doing now, and then
I bet you even liked him when he went electric, didn't you?
No, when I in '65, that was I hitchhiked up to Leicester, me and little Harry, and that was just acoustic. And I remember I met him at the back of the stage door. I went around the back of the theatre, and he came out of the stage door. There's only about 10 people there. He came out through the door, and I tapped him on the shoulder. So this hand has touched Bob Dylan.
Whoa!
And he was with Joan Baez. She wasn't performing with him, but she was in tow, And off they drove in their limo. And the following year, I saw him in Cardiff, and that was the electric one, where he did the first half acoustic and the second half electric. So I rolled with it because I knew what it was about, the old Judas and all that business. I've taken him on board for everything he's kind of done. But one letdown when I went to see him about 4 years ago, again in Cardiff, and the night was billed an evening with Bob Dylan and Mark Knopfler. Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is going to be great, because I was loving what Mark Knopfler was doing at that time, and Dylan. So Mark Knopfler came on and did his set, played for an hour and a bit in the intermission. So I thought, I'm really looking forward to the second half now, because Dylan is going to come on, do his stuff, and halfway through, the band are going to leave, and there'll be 2 acoustic guitars on stage for Mark Knopfler and Dylan to do a number. It didn't happen. Dylan didn't even acknowledge the fact that Mark Knopfler had been playing prior to him. I thought, stagecraft, take a lesson, please, will you? But you can't be.
He's obviously never worked in Conibear Working Men's Club.
Yeah, the turn. Oh, go on, do another one now.
Yeah. Do us another one, will you? Oh, what? Can you play him 10.5 guitars?
On a slightly different vein, for some reason today, I thought of Melanie, and I had to look up what she was doing and where she was now and how old she was. And surprisingly, she's still playing.
Yeah.
which is the same sort of
Roller
era.
skates. I bought a brand new pair of roller skates.
Yeah,
And what have you done with my song, Ma?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because that was like, I first started DJing, so that was about 1971. And the Edwin Hawkins Singers had an album out at the same time. Melanie,
Yeah.
she's still out, is she?
Yeah, still going apparently. So that's it. Oh, Con, by the way, your French ladies rugby team are getting slaughtered 84-0.
Good enough for them.
Right. Hey, I'm gonna leave you, gentlemen. All right.
Okay, Dave. Thanks for staying on.
Yeah. Okay. See you next week.
Yeah.
All the best, Dave.
Keep swimming.
Cheers.
Keep swimming.
Bye.
Hi,
Cheers,
Vicky.
mate.
Yeah, we'll do. Cheers.
Yeah.
Ta-ra.
Oh, Michael, how did your castle go? Bit soggy one
Very
night.
good, very good. The weather was crap, but it all went pretty well. We sort of broke even in the end, I suppose. So it was all good.
Yeah. I was
Too
looking
hard.
at when I driving past one day, or was it a picture? No, it must have been a picture. And I could see, initially I thought it was you lot had actually sort of done a fair bit of work, but then you obviously have booked in a team of people to do sound and light as well, is it? Looking at all the flight cases.
No, they only did it on Monday night.
Oh, that was for the Monday, was it?
Yeah, they just did. They brought in 7 smoke machines, a load of spotlights, but it was internal. We did all the outside. So
Yeah, I liked that. I could see the blue from down on the prom. I could see the blue and the red and the green lights.
Yeah. But
I did
we still old fashioned. We just stick gels over the top of them.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I did a wedding for a friend, I think I might have told you about it ages ago. A friend of mine, his daughter was getting married. You might know her, Lucy Havens. Short silver hair. She used to live on the house opposite from the bowling green, up on the hill there. And it's Keith Harris is his daughter. So when he asked me if I could do the do, and it was the first time I think they'd had some kind of function in the castle grounds. So and maybe Dave Stevens, who I always known as Bengo, because that was his nickname for the gang. I think he was like a bit of a caretaker at the time. I'm not even sure he lives in the last house or something. But anyway, so they had a marquee in the well, and when they did the wedding bit, the wedding procession walked from Keith's mum's house, which was on the seafront, just along by the seafood hut, down by the slip. Where they walked along the prom there, all in a full regalia, across the square, up Newton Road. There was a brass band that happened to be playing outside the Austrian Hall, who quickly switched to Here Comes the Bride. And then I'd set up a piece of music, which I back-timed. So as they entered the castle grounds, the path, I paced it out so that when they used the castle itself as the kind of for the ceremony. I think they'd done the official one in the registrar or maybe in Castle Cove, but they used the castle so that all the guests were all mounted up in the ramparts beforehand, and they walked up through the gates up to that little bit. We know where you were standing in your little spooky outfit behind us in your brown thing. That little, they used that there as the ceremony bit. So I remember, and the piece of music went all the way up there, and I back-timed it. But I used gels. I borrowed gels from the Grand Theatre, and I covered so that the castle for that night was all pink and purple and very, very fairyish. It was great. I had lights from mine, which were then playing on the castle walls as well. And with all the little kids running around like little urchins, it had a really sort of fairy tale quality to it. So it's nice when you got but the tree was still there then. That bush that used to be just on the right hand side as you go in. I think it's long gone now, isn't it?
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, but I suppose your stuff on Monday night, even though it was wet, once they were inside, most of the time they were sort of undercover, were they?
No.
You kicked them out from the tunnels. No, don't linger in here. I want to spook the next people along.
Yeah, there is sort of cabins and keeps and things are going. But yeah, but even they drip. So as soon as you look up, something drips in your eye.
I suppose. Yeah. What did you have something over the top for the whipping post down below?
No, we on the whipping post we had some zombies chained to it. So when you went in there, they couldn't reach you, but then they broke loose from their chains. So then they could reach people, and of course they were all kept in the corner there. And, yeah, but it's a good, particularly when it's blue. You know, the lights there. It looks really sort of quite creepy in there.
Oh yeah,
good.
But, I'm glad of it.
Yeah, it was all good. Actually, well, I was going to wait. I was going to speak to you another time, but I'll quickly say we're doing something at Christmas and may be interested. So I'll have to speak to you about that another time.
All right.
Not Christmas, 17th and 18th of December, the weekend before Christmas.
17th, 18th.
But I'll speak to you another time about that.
All right. Okay. Right.
Oh, I got to let the cat out, I think.
Well,
Biscuit, is it windy up your way? The wind suddenly came up here. There was no wind, and now suddenly it's like a force 9.
It's howling down in sunny Skirlish, I can tell you that now. Absolutely howling.
God, what was the day that it came down? Now, would it have been, was it Tuesday? When it really rained, it blew like anything. And we went to visit Kim's son, who lives down in Arloith, just past that garage, and the whole road was like a river.
Yeah, half ago it was flooded in places. Lots of places you couldn't get through for quite a few hours.
Yeah, I bet. It all comes down off the land, doesn't it? And all of a sudden, it's like the drains can't cope. Yeah.
That's why you need a decent car when you live out there.
That's why I got a 4x4. Don't use it that often, only when it's flooded.
And still people go camping, don't they?
Yeah.
Really? This time of year?
Yeah. There's big for these, like these day. There's loads of day caravans. Is that what they're called? The ones that have been converted into just a van that's been converted. It's got a table.
There's loads of band people living in Gower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I remember, when I went to see Dylan, we were sitting about 20 rows back from the front. I saw somebody walking down the side and going in, and it was PJ and his wife. Is it Caroline?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when they sat down, it was still lots of space. So I went down the rows, sneaked in, and I sat right behind him in a row behind, you know. I said, do you mind, please, just putting your head down a bit? I can't see properly, like, you know, of course, because he spun round, you know. When we must have been chatting for about 10 or 15 minutes. But he'd got tickets, actual tickets. The ones we had were via, you know, online. Because the one nice thing about that gig was it was no mobile phones. And it wasn't so much, oh, no, you're not allowed to. As you went in, if your tickets were on your phone, all the people outside, really good assistance there. They got you to take your ticket numbers off your phone, write them down on a pad, which they gave you the thing. And as you went through into the outer area, the foyer, they have these bags about this big, and a bit like when you go shopping and you pick up something off the rail, but you can't walk out the door with it because they have to de-tag it. So these bags, these pouches, you put your phone in, you sealed it over with a little tag. So it meant that you had your phone with you, but you couldn't use it. But it was a joy to sit there and watch the concert, and there was no sort of, you know, phones everywhere.
Yeah.
So whether that was his thing or management, but it was a really good thing to do, you know. If you wanted to use your phone, well, you went out into the foyer, got it de-tagged, and came back in.
Bob Dylan is pretty canny. I bet that was his idea, so nobody could take
it. Won't be surprised. Yeah, I'm pissed
off. Record. Because some of the phones now, they're so good at recording, aren't they? It's like you know, it's proper camera work, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh no, it's not proper camera.
I haven't got one of those phones.
My new phone, apparently it does 50 megapixels. I mean, 50 million megapixels or something like that. And it's still, when you blow, it's got a photo of it. Okay, it's a good photo on the screen, yeah. But you put it on Photoshop and blow it up a little bit, and you get these little square things that keep coming up all the time, little pixels. And it's supposed to have 50 million. My Nikon's got 24 million, you know, and that's pretty cool. At 50, I don't believe there's 50 million pixels in this photo, you know.
Thing is, unless you're going to put a picture on a wall about 20 foot by 20 foot, you never know the difference anyway.
I know you're
What are you going to do with all those pixels? You can't,
Yeah,
you can't do a point unless you want to make a huge photograph.
yeah, but
So,
there's
you
a
know,
difference in high definition and high definition, isn't there? High definition on a phone is great, but high definition on a camera is about a million times better, isn't it?
I know, but it's only, what are you going to do with that photograph?
Can I be stupid, please?
Your screen hasn't got 50 million pixels on it. And if you want to make a photograph, you can't have a printer.
I'm just telling you, the specifications on it was that, and I don't believe it, you know. Because if it was 50 million pixels, it'd be more perfect than a camera, wouldn't it? You know, because even the full frame camera's got 36 million, you know.
So how is it then, the old black and white photos? Like, how many pixels would they have equivalent of?
They didn't have pixels, did they? They just had
No, but what would be the equivalent of them?
It'd be billions.
Yeah, yeah. Like when we
keep loading it up as big as you wanted to.
I used to use Ilford P4, PS4, PF5 or something like that. And one was 100 ASA. It was ASA, wasn't ISO then. It was ASA. And one was 400. Ilford F4 or something like that. And Ilford FP, I don't know, I can't remember. But that was for black and white photography. And the pictures was just, you blow them up as you want to, you know. If it was blurred, it was fucked.
Now in cinemas is 8K, and that's almost as good as the old film.
Yeah.
Not quite as good. But if you're in a big cinema and it's been filmed in 8K, which costs an absolute fortune, you can actually enlarge the image big enough to see it on the screen without pixels on it.
It's just that you see these old black and white photos, and you can blow them up and blow them up and blow them up, can't you?
There's no pixels on it.
I love the old ones, the clean ones that have been well scanned. You know, Oh my God, it's such a pleasure to work with. You don't get any pixels, man. But you get people on Facebook. You see this picture and they take some. I don't know how they do it. They destroy the photo totally, and it comes up in the size of a thumbnail, and you just blow it up just about a quarter of the size, and you can't see it. It's just all blur.
Well, some of the adverts my son's working on, they're using film cameras again, because the quality and definition you can get in a film is so much better than a digital camera.
Yeah.
All turned around again.
We have 35 minutes, or is it 40 minutes?
No, we got about 10 minutes left.
Sorry?
5 minutes 40 left, or 40 odd seconds.
It seemed to go off early last time.
I did veer it off then, because while we were talking about photographs, I thought I had a little batch in my bag, but I put it somewhere else. But it was a photograph that I took. Oh, is that Roller Slade, is it?
It's Roller Slade, yeah, but look at the definition on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's amazing. There's no pixels in it at all. And that's in the 1900s, something like that, It's amazing. I love this photo. It's brilliant. You almost see the labels, names on the labels.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Wow, those are the days, eh? Yeah, go on, Sam. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, so I come across a batch of pictures that have been living somewhere for about 40 years. And you can tell they're all of the same kind of browny, rounded edges sort of feel. And a lot of them were alongside a lot of the my tickets and things from, my Mad Atlas board and all that. But among them was this photograph. It's a little square, black and white. And I remember taking it when I was, here we are, it was 1967. I was apprentice carpenter and I was working on the school in Kevin Engoy. And just for the hell of it, in my break time, I was up on the roof and I had this little brown, a boxy brown, or whatever, Kodak box camera. And you look down into it and it went that way. So I thought, right, so I put it on the flat of the roof and I got a bit of 2x1 batten and laid it alongside. So it was just by the tick lever. I went 15 feet across the roof, did a headstand, juggled the batten myself, and it took the picture of me standing on my head. Which
should have been a juggler, Sam.
Yeah. When I showed it to somebody, they immediately turned it around and they said, "No, that's the right way up." I'm standing on my head.
Post it up, Sam. Post it up. I'll see that.
Yeah, I put it down somewhere in here. Otherwise, I just showed it to you. Yeah, I'll find it. Yeah.
Excellent.
And another one, which was of, it must have been part of the surf trip that we did in '69, and it needs a magnifying glass to look. But it's down at Bayritz, and Alan Longhurst's van is the centerpiece. And there's a guy, Bob somebody, he was quite a prominent surfer, and he used to truck around with his surfboard on a Vespa scooter. And we're all sort of sitting by the van in our shorts and things. I'll pull that. What?
Did he have a beard?
No, that was the year I started growing it, 69.
No, you, him, Bob.
Yes.
Bob Cooper then.
Bob Cooper, that's it, yeah. That was him, yeah. No, I'm getting the plug in and find another source, yeah.
Where did that music come from?
Where did you what?
I thought I heard some music.
Music was out.
No, it was something telling me that I needed to plug in because I'm just about to lose power. So it was a little boop. I haven't got anything playing. So it's more likely a little, a keyboard noise which comes up going on it. So we're just about, we got a minute or so left, do we? Right.
Yeah.
I spent my afternoon. Oh, go on.
I had a nice day down in the museum today in Swansea. I thought I'd go down there and see what all that's about.
Maritime Museum.
Sorry?
The Maritime Museum.
No, the old museum.
Oh, the old one.
The original one.
I haven't been in there for years proper.
I haven't either. It doesn't change that much, but I was laughing with the guys that are looking after it. That, they got mummy there. I think you were with us once, Con, but he used to. The mummy was standing upright and his toes were exposed. And he used to touch his toes, and whoever touched his toes was some sort of brave one, and then he used to run away.
Yeah. You were afraid of the mummy toes. I remember that. Bloody hell.
Now it's all been reinstated, and they were there with tweezers putting the toes back together. It's all right there, actually. It's okay. It's a nice exhibition.
Yeah, less than a minute, boys. So
well, have a good week all before it goes. Enjoy yourself.
Let's off gracefully.
Good chat tonight, and just give the artist the go ahead, Mike. Just tell her yes, do it.
Oh, she joined as well, but like the rest of us, she wants to get invited as well.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Con, see if you can send a link to Porky.
I will. I'll try. Yeah, I will do that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cheers.
Right, Biscuit's been very quiet. We'll catch up next week, Biscuit.
Yeah, all the best.
You can go now, Biscuit.